Hello, fellow Patriots and amazing, blessed Americans that live here in this great constitutional republic that we call the United States of America. So the reason I'm making this video is because I'm very passionate about the Constitution of the United States. I'm very passionate about our country. I served our country in the military for 25 years, retired as a captain in the Army, and I am just getting a little bit worried about the way our nation is moving and which way it's moving, and the divisiveness that we have in our country right now is just absolutely amazing. I never in my life would I have ever guessed growing up here that we'd be at a time where government is restricting your movement and stopping you from going to church. It's just a sad day that we live in this nation where the rule of law, the Constitution, is being ignored. And I get that people and governors have rights to do emergency and executive orders in times of natural disaster, pandemics, and I get that. I'm not taking away from what is going on with the coronavirus. What I'm saying is that they're supposed to do it in the least restrictive manner possible. Again, the least restrictive manner possible. Now, this is not happening right now. These governors are absolutely overstepping their bounds, violating federal law. And I get state statute. I get it. I've read the state statute under the health law, and it gives the governor some serious power under the state statute. However, there is federal law, and there is a right way to do this and a wrong way to do this. The right way to do this is to fight the governor in court and to beat her at the ballot box. So, fellow Americans, I'm asking you, even in your each respective state, is to stand up, take a stand, start fighting this in court, start taking this to court. I get attorneys are expensive, and I get that, but if it's worth it and it's worth doing, it's worth fighting for. This country that I served, and I love, and I served this country for 25 years, knowing 25 years in the military and 20 years in law enforcement, knowing that any day I could have been killed either in the line of duty as a police officer or killed in action in the military. So, and I knew that, and I have brothers and sisters in arms that have given their life for this flag, this nation, and this Constitution. And why am I making this video today? Well, I'm making this video today because we need to educate people. We need to educate people on the Constitution. We need to educate people on their rights, the rights of the people. We the people are who run this country. We've all too often we refer to these so-called representatives that we send to Washington D.C. or we send up to the state capitol, or to the state legislatures, or up to D.C. to represent us. Right? We always refer to them as our leaders. Let's pray for our leaders. Well, I have news for you, people. We sent them there to represent us, not to lead us, okay? That's first and foremost. So remember, let's start referring to them as what they are, our representatives, because they're representing us, okay? We're a constitutional republic. We, the people, are their boss. And that is what they have forgotten, is that we, the people, are their boss. And all too often they get up into office and they assert a certain amount of power or authority and believe that they have that authority or that power over us. And we need to remind them that we're their bosses. We are the ones who sent them there. And how do we fire them? Well, we have a ballot box. If they do something that is of malfeasance or criminal, we can remove them upon recall, or we can impeach them, right? So, or recall these elected individuals. And we need to start doing that. We need to start back to what our founding fathers wanted. our founding fathers were brilliant. They were absolute genius to write this document, and to have survived as long as it has, and for our country to have survived as long as it has, right? So why is it that we are in a time of, where the government authority is asserting they're overreaching their authority? Well, it's because that we, the people, have not stood up, and we haven't educated them, and we have where the people are not in tune with the education of the Constitution, and we really need to start educating people on the Constitution. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Constitutional Minute, please subscribe if you learn about the Constitution, and also the reason I'm on here is for a couple of things. One is to tell you what my project is and what I'm doing right now. Well, right now I made a project, and I am bound and determined to prove and to get back to what the Constitution is. And by no means am I trying to create something that is adverse or to our Constitution or to our government. Okay, I love this country. I love our nation. I love this constitutional republic that we live in, but we have to start standing up and being community oriented again. And what do I mean by that? Well, I started a civic organization, if you will, what our founding fathers basically wanted, right? A true citizens militia. Now, I'm not talking some, right wing or some left wing group that is bound and determined to overthrow our government. I'm not talking about that at all. What am I talking about? I'm talking about a true citizens militia. Okay, I'm not talking about the National Guard. I'm not talking about the State Defense Force. I'm talking about a true citizens militia. And what do I mean by that? Well, what happened in 1908, gearing up for World War I, is the National Guard kind of got swept in with the regular military because we needed every able-bodied American to fight that war. And so that's what happened. And what it did is it took the citizens who should be here locally away from being citizen soldiers. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that the National Guard aren't citizen soldiers, because they are, and so are all of the reserve components. They're citizen soldiers. They're both citizen and soldier, and they get to do that. I'm talking a true militiaman, as our founding fathers had envisioned, the true Minutemen, if you will, of a group of citizens that want to serve their local communities. And what do I mean by that? I mean local communities that they live in, their local towns. We used to have an armory here, and if I needed to call somebody out, I could call the local National Guard commander, and bam, they could be here within a minute's notice. Well, that's stopped happening in this country with the defense reorganization and everything that they've done, and they've moved armories out of towns, and there's no longer the local militia, as you will, or the local National Guard. So what am I trying to do? Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a true citizen. Now hear me. A true citizens militia of individuals who want to serve their community, whether it might be a flood and we need to go and fill some sandbags, and the local chapter president of the militia can garner their people and be able to get there and help out as a civic organization, and help out with filling sandbags, with standing in a line to feed people, or to help their community and in a time of need. Now, what else is it there? Now, the Constitution is pretty clear. The Second Amendment is pretty clear. Is we have the right as citizens, right? That we have the right to bear arms, but we also have the right to a militia. And a lot of people argue that the National Guard is the militia. Well, if the National Guard was a true militia, then they would be wouldn't have United States Army on their uniform. Okay. Now I'm talking true militia. Now I'm not saying that they're not a state organization. They are. They're a true state organization, and they are by law under Title 32 can be called up for certain things. But what I'm talking about is a true citizens militia. Citizens who maybe can't serve in the military. And I know people are going to say, well, that's the State Defense Force. Well, maybe not. But what I'm saying is that a true citizens militia, where, listen to this, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Now, that doesn't mean free state as in the state you live in. That means the free state as the state of being, the state of well-being, the state of our freedoms not being infringed upon, right? And so what am I trying to do? Well, I'm not trying to be some right-wing or left-wing extremist, because I believe that anybody that wants to serve their community should be able to be a part of these militias and to be able to serve, right? And to be able to stand up for what the Constitution says and what the meaning of the Constitution is. And yes, they'll take an oath to support and defend the Constitution, and I believe that they should do that. I also believe that, to do background checks, to make sure that we have individuals who are serving in these militias aren't felons, they're not convicted of domestic violence or a crime of moral turpitude. And so what do I mean by that? I mean that we do our due diligence, we do background investigations, and then we make sure that they're not their intent is not to overthrow the government or to be a so-called extremist organization, because that's by no means what I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create a civic-minded organization to educate on the Constitution and to be able to help in time of need. So I'm calling all true patriots who want to learn about the Constitution, who wants to train to be able to, if God willing, if anything ever happens and we were to be attacked, let's say a Red Dawn scenario, right? Well, it would take hours to mobilize National Guard units or the military because of the way that they're set up. Okay, being a little bit about myself, served 25 years in the military, retired Army captain with the National Guard, by the way. And, I served on active duty. I did serve in the Navy for a little bit as well, the Navy Reserve and the Air National Guard. So I've also served 20 years in law enforcement, being both a chief of police and an elected sheriff. And I truly believe in what our Constitution is. Okay. So again, by no means is this an organization, or do I want it to become an organization to where it leans one way or the other. I want to say that first and foremost that I'm a constitutionalist, plain and simple constitutionalist, and I know that gets he's a constitutionalist. I don't know at what point in our country that saying that you're a constitutionalist became a bad thing. Everybody in the United States, if they love their freedoms, should be a constitutionalist. So what am I doing? So I created a civic organization, a true citizens militia, and it's called the Patriot Legion Militia. Okay, the Patriot Legion Militia, and we're going to start chapters throughout the United States. So if you're interested in starting a chapter and you're willing, you're not a felon, you're not a domestic, haven't been convicted of a domestic violence or a crime of moral turpitude, and you want to start a chapter in your town, because I believe that every single town should have a local militia to be able to help out in not just for invasion, but for helping out in civic organizations, being community minded and community service oriented, and to be able to get out there and help fill sandbags if we have to, help serve food if we need to help serve food because of time of need. We need to get back to helping the community. And what else? I mean, are we going to stand up for rights that are being infringed upon? Absolutely. We're going to start, and we can peaceably assemble, and as an organization or as a group, just like any other group out there, we can peaceably assemble and to be able to address grievance to our government, right? That's the beauty of the Constitution of the United States. So if you're a true patriot and you want to be involved in this, contact me, Joe Baca 38 at gmail.com. It's JOEBACA 38 at gmail.com. Let me know you're interested in becoming a part of it, or just leave a message here on the Patriot Legion Facebook channel or Facebook page, and leave me a private message if you want to, saying you want to get involved and you want to become a part of this organization. I believe it's time to start training citizens in the Constitution, training citizens in their rights that they're given by their Creator, and these rights have stood the test of time. So again, if you're interested in being a part of the Patriot Legion, please contact me. Let me know how we can help you out. Again, we will do background investigations. We'll make sure that you're not some extremist, or you're not some individual who is a felon who can't hold a firearm, because there might be those times where you have to have a firearm, and we'll train you in the Constitution. So again, contact me and let me know if you're interested. God bless. Take care, and as always, God bless this constitutional republic that we call the United States of America.